All right. Also, the end of the 4A recording was entertaining because we actually started telling jokes. So, I always like to start these by putting ABHK, except what do you already know that B is going to be, or what should be B? What should be B?
It's no.
Now, the 0 is one of the identities. What's the other identity? You don't know what identity is? We can definitely talk about that. What would the letter form of the vertex form of this be? A, parentheses,
H minus K.
X minus H, good, and this guy's squared, plus K. Technically, there can still be a B value in there. Ms. Holly likes to manipulate, so B just goes away. And we force B, the B value, to be an A value instead. Okay, makes everything easier. Because right now, that's not an A value, that is a B value, because it's inside of those parentheses. Does that kind of make sense? But, can we force it into being an A value?
Yeah.
What would you do to it? You square it, yeah, because it's something times something squared. So you can change this to 2 squared times x minus 1, so that's a plus, then minus, wrote a plus. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Squared. Well, what's 2 squared?
4.
4. So 4 x minus 1 squared. This in your calculator and this in your calculator will give you the exact same graph. This one's just nicer to deal with. So what's my A value? 4. We are only ever going to deal with B values that are 1, or if it's a square root, it can be 1 or negative 1. Okay? What about H? What's my H value?
Positive 1.
So it depends on how you want to think about it. If you want to change the sign right here and make it a positive 1, you're good. If you want to change it for your little POI, which is your point of interest, because some of them are vertex, right? Some are points of inflection. Just to simplify it, this is not a real math thing, that's a Miss Holly thing, just so you know. It makes it easier, okay? If you say that to another math teacher, they might stare at you awkwardly. I just feel the need to let you know that. How about my K value? What's my K value for this guy? 0. So if it helps you to write plus 0, do it. Okay? Does that make more sense? Yeah? Sometimes I like expanding them so they all look like this. I think it makes it a lot easier. Yeah?
Why is H not negative 1?
Because what was the little trip up with H? And I'm pretty sure I told you a really cheesy way to remember it if you actually listen to the video instead of just watching it. Because your teacher's name is Ms. Holly, and Miss Holly is a little backwards if you haven't already figured it out. So you always flip the H. That's your goofy way of remembering it because you have me as a teacher. The actual reason is because it's in parentheses and there's a whole big proof, and normally I like you to understand things, but it's so much more than you ever need to get into. Okay? So you always flip the H because Miss Holly's a little backwards. That's why I couldn't change my name when I got married. I'm just kidding, it's because of hashtag segment. Don't worry about it. Okay, so, lots of reasons. We can talk about that later. So, what is my point of interest then? Where's my, like, starting point? 1, 0. It's always what and then what? It's always H and then K. It's always H and then K. Right? So the formula is minus, so that it takes care of the flipping of signs for you, but you need to remember that when you flip back. So, you can always start here, right? Please tell me you can graph this point.
No.
How do I graph this point?
It's too difficult.
Wait, what? Wait, no, hold up. No, please, hold up. Go to 1 on the X. Which one's the X? The horizontal.
Is it the 3D play one?
That's a whole different ballgame. Right? You cool there? Then, what I really like about having A and B here is this is always your rise and your run. Just for 1 point though, or 1 point in each direction. okay? So if I rise 4 and go over 1, I know that my next point is going to be right there. What does this graph look like?
A V. I know
Is it
it's
a
a
V?
quadratic.
The quadratic, which is close to a V, a U, right? A V is for that absolute value, right? So I know that one side of it's going to go up this way. What do you know the next side of it's going to do? On the other side. So you can do that third point. You should be giving me 3 points, unless it's a square root. Then you only give me 2, okay? And then you get a nice little graph. If you're not great at drawing graphs, at least put big obnoxious points in, so you're showing me that you know where the points go. Grade some of those graphs for a little rough. Questions? Figured out? Okay. How do you feel about that? Kind of alright? Sort of okay? Doctor?
So you won't have to put it in the calculator if you need to write a run.
This is a no calculator section of this class.
Oh, never mind.
Yep, and I'm glad you brought that up. Okay? The more you can look at functions and visualize what they look like, the easier stuff like this gets. So that's what this is kind of forcing you to do. Alright, so let's talk about this one. This one we have to describe, so you have to use your words. And I still like putting all of these down here. This is my go-to for no matter how I'm given the problem. I always list ABHK, because I think it makes it a little easier. So what is, in this function, what's my A value?
-1.
-1. B value is just going to be, that's what it should be. H value is 0. Very good. I'm teaching. Oh, really? What's my K value?
+2.
+2. What are the norms for A, B, H, and K? If it was just this function right here.
They're all 0.
Close.
1.
These two are 0,
1.
and these two are 1, because these are the multiplicative identities. Okay?
1.
We can talk about that fancy stuff a little later. So if it's different than the norm, that's when you know you have to tell me something. That's what I kind of like about that. So instead of 1, this is a -1. What does that do to my graph?
Reflection over the x-axis.
Very nice. Reflect over x-axis. Gorgeous. This guy's still 1. We don't have to say anything. This guy's still 0. We don't have to say anything. What happens with my K value? Very good. Shift up 2. If you don't want to use the word shift, what's the other fancy word you could use? Teach me how to do that.
Vertical translation.
Very nice. Translation. Remember that from geometry? The slide, like it's electric, or translation? So you better look
Also,
at it.
got the element.
How do you feel about that?
Okay.
All we're going to do today is practice. Cool.
The element.
Good catch.
I like that better than the actual graph. I don't know why. It just looks easier that way.
I like relating everything back to this, because then you have one thing you can do no matter what, and that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to do a couple things together, and then I'll let you practice. Any good jokes to end our video, or do you have a good joke?
Like, I say, like, black mamba was a bungalow. Like, they heard that.
Maybe. I don't know how far away you are.
I don't know. It was a bungalow.
I don't
Oh, I
know
got
what
one.
that means.
What do you call a very flirtatious Greek philosopher?
Tell me.
A Socrates.